And this is Monty once again from DPL Surveillance Equipment. Just in case you didn't guess accurately, I'm doing some morning chores. I'm actually watching people come and go to work, etc. So every once in a while you're going to hear cars going back and forth, a few minor distractions like that. But I wipe my car down, as I mentioned before, and try to get caught up on some of the latest current events, things that are going on in the economy, for instance, and make sure, get some idea in terms of what my day is going to consist of. My day, basically, today is going to be primarily focused on getting over to the gym, hopefully putting in the 4 to 5 hours, a 4 to 5 hour workout. Hit the spa, the sauna, do some stretches, and then that shit. Articles, podcasts, lots of blogs, a significantly large and growing video library. You guys may want to consider checking out the video library, for instance, where you can see us demonstrate videos. The videos that we're demonstrating are the surveillance and security products that are actually sold on the website. So you can basically get a very good idea in terms of what they look like, how they're used, and all of that. So just check out the video library when you go there. And then take a look at the articles, by the way. The articles and the podcasts and the blogs, and just an abundance of information overall. So anyway, take a look at it. Let us know what you think. And let's see what else can we cover today. Oh yeah, the website. We redesigned the website, and it's completely optimized for mobile, as I mentioned before. World-class developer has redesigned it completely, and it comes up very good in the search engines as far as I can tell, and it should be very easy to navigate on your favorite smartphone, PDA, laptop, or whatever you're using. Should be completely optimized for that as well. We're putting a major emphasis on Bitcoin. We'll be accepting Bitcoin, probably Litecoin and Ethereum also. As soon as he completes installing this particular plugin, you guys will be able to order your favorite spy gadgets from the website using your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, and your Litecoin. So that should make it easier for people who want to step outside the typical traditional finance system and take a look at cryptocurrencies where we don't have to ask for permission, we don't have to ask for some stupid government agency to tell us what we can sell, what we can't sell, who we can sell it to, what you can buy, what you can't buy. If a person's from this country, not from that country or whatever, those sales could be restricted or blocked completely, but not with Bitcoin, not with cryptocurrencies. The money just flows from one person to the next directly. It doesn't have to go through the banking system. No Wells Fargo, no Citibank, no JP Morgan Chase. We don't have to worry about MasterCard and Visa blocking and restricting and doing chargebacks. We don't have to worry about disputes, some stupid customer complaining that you didn't answer the phone in 5 minutes or less, or you didn't return an email after 10 minutes, so they want to do a chargeback, or whatever stupid reason that they're coming up with nowadays. That's going to be a thing of the past, at least for my company. What else? Let's see. Well, unless I can think of something else regarding the way we operate, let's move into today's article, okay? As I like to be precise as possible, we have a specific name for these articles, okay? And the name of the articles are very revealing in terms of what we're talking about and why. Today's article, our podcast, It's called No Cats, No Sleepovers, Boomers Become Housemates. Let me repeat that. No cats, no sleepovers, boomers become housemates. Now, I'm going to frame this a little bit in that the reason why this is a very interesting article to me, not that the others aren't, but, because everybody's different. Everybody has their favorite topics and subjects and things that they're attracted to. This particular article, I think, is very revealing in that the demographics of the United States right now are such that a lot of people really are getting older, and there's just a lot of baby boomers making up a larger percentage of the demographics of the population, just in case you haven't heard. That age group, somewhere between, I don't know, it seems like 50 and 70 is a very large and growing demographic. So with a huge demographic like that, a lot of activity, a lot of things that go on in the economy are really based around serving and working with that demographic. And one of the things that we're looking at right now is the roommate, housemate situation. A lot of women are looking at roommates and housemates. And some of the reasons are because, let's see, just one second. Got a little bit of noise going on in the background. Okay. Let me see. This sentence says a lot about what's going on. Demographic and economic shifts are reshaping what the golden years look like for baby boomers. Many are realizing they haven't saved enough for retirement. They are less likely to be married than in years past. And at the same time, a historic shortage of homes is pushing up housing costs. Okay, so we got three different things that are affecting what's happening in the golden years for particularly a lot of women as compared to men. But yeah, housing shortage, higher costs associated with those houses because there is a shortage, at least for as far as the developers are concerned. The housing developers just aren't developing as many houses, affordable houses, that is. So a lot of women, particularly, are finding themselves taking in roommates. And then once you get past a certain age and you don't get married, then of course that is one of the reasons also why a lot of women are taking a look at becoming housemates. Let's get into the article and see what are some of the particular situations going on here. Living with housemates is challenging, and it doesn't get easier with age. Not in my house. Okay, people of similar sensibilities sharing living quarters. That's basically a acronym or abbreviation that a lot of these people are using nowadays. PSSLQ, Postal Q, pronounced Postal Q, basically. Rika Mead got divorced a few years back, but didn't want to give up the dream home she'd bought outside Denver. So she forged a solution she hadn't considered in decades. She got a roommate. Miss Mead, 71 years old, has honed her criteria for cohabitance since then. A housemate may not own dogs, but must love Miss Mead's two dogs, Bendy and Baku. They must not try to convert her to their religion. It's happened. And while Miss Mead is no prude, she's at a point in life where men aren't welcome overnight. I want my housemate to get laid from here to Tuscany, she said, but not in my house. I think that's funny. Moving right along. living with housemates is challenging at any time. It doesn't get easier with age. Laundry is still an issue, so is music. Miss Mead acknowledges her house rules would never fly if she were looking for a housemate in her 20s, but she has spent years developing her own habits and is less willing to make compromises on certain rules. Plus, the stuff she owns now is a heck of a lot nicer, she said. There's more to lose. So Miss Mead, let's see, there's more to lose. Kathy Ryan, on the other hand, 64 years old, said she opened her home in Thornton, Thornton, Colorado, to a housemate she found on Craigslist. She then the roommate lied about how many cats she was bringing, 3, not 2, and filled the basement with a hoard of knickknacks, including a doll carriage, a dress she last worn when she was 7. When Miss Ryan asked her to please stop running small loads of laundry on the extra large setting, the housemaid insisted Miss Ryan explain herself to the housemaid's therapist. That's kind of funny. Miss Ryan eventually told her she had to leave. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. Still, Miss Ryan, who teaches college math online, has enjoyed other roommates since then. My lesson is try to go with someone you already know, she said. Now, on the other hand, housemates Karen Bush, 70 years old, and Louise Machinist, 72, shared a condo in Sarasota, Florida, but sometimes have aesthetic differences. To avoid hurt feelings over disagreements about furniture or artwork, they developed a euphemism for when they disliked each other's choices. PSI, or PSI, for personal space item. Miss Machinist's drop leaf table got PSI'd to her room, for instance, as did a painting by Miss Bush's mother. It's great, Miss Machinist said, but the purple magnolias wouldn't be great in our pale green walled living room. About 16% of people 50 and older said they live in a shared household, up from 2% 4 years ago, according to a recent survey whose full results will be released in coming weeks by AARP. Last year, 1.9 million U.S. households headed by a person 50 or older included a housemate, roommate, boarder, or other non-relative, according to census data analyzed by Veritas Urbis Economics, LLC, which provides consulting to developers and home builders. Let's see. Here's another interesting. I'm trying to find some interesting stories here. Anyway, Apostle Q is a term that's invented by the Census Bureau, I think. Or is it, let me see here, Apostle Q, they think, no, I'm sorry. The actual Census Bureau designation is called, is people of similar sensibility sharing living quarters. A lot of these women are using Apostle Q instead. People of similar sensibility sharing, sharing living quarters, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, the Census Bureau used persons of the opposite sex sharing living quarters. So again, the Census Bureau's designation officially is persons of the opposite sex sharing living quarters. But a lot of these women like instead Apostle Q, instead of referring to opposite sex, basically the difference. Anyway, the two women started living together in Tucson, Arizona a couple of years ago because Miss Ka needed help at home and Miss Knox needed to save money. They weren't sure they wanted to be Apostle Qs, but decided to try it after running into each other at a workshop on end-of-life planning. These days, we are less interested in end-of-life planning and more interested in living life, Miss Ka said. Just so you guys know out there, housemates of certain age or a certain age can find each other on websites including Roommates for Boomers and let's share housing. So that's roommates for the number 4 boomers, and let's share housing. And also there's a nonprofit New York Foundation for senior citizens. They matched up Janice Rayford, 69, and Lillian Otero, 66. Again, that's the New York Foundation for Senior Citizens. Miss Rayford, let's see. Miss Rayford decided to get a housemate to help preserve her retirement savings, though she had to persuade her mother and her adult daughter that she wasn't crazy for doing so after 2 decades of living alone. I was very settled, said Miss Rayford. The 2 women have been sharing a home in Queens for 2 years, and most of their disagreements are slight. Miss Rayford likes R&B, Aretha Franklin, Nina Simone, and Beyonce, and doesn't share her roommate's affinity for rap. Miss Otero, on the other hand, is partial to Jay-Z and 2 Chainz. She keeps the peace by listening with headphones. One head-scratcher say shared housing advocates is a lack of interest from men. Theories as to why vary between two poles. Men prefer to be alone, and men can't admit that they don't want to be alone. Okay, so we got a few issues going on with men. Let's see. I'm going to read this one here, then I'll let you guys read the article for yourself. I think this is kind of interesting and humorous. Anna Marie Pluhar, who runs a nonprofit called Sharing Housing Incorporated, hosted a recent workshop that attracted 26 women and 2 men. She thinks the gap is partly because women live longer and have less in savings because of pay inequality. The other thing is we women are more able to see ourselves creating a companionable home that can be shared, Ms. Polar said. People have said to me, I want a Golden Girls relationship, Ms. Pluhar said, referring to the popular 80s era TV sitcom about 4 older women sharing a home in Miami. When I first started working on this, I tried to stay away from using that, but I'm giving up. I'm giving up. It's a cultural reference. Let's see, it's a cultural reference. I might as well read the rest of it. Hope Deitch, a 75-year-old former accountant and baker who lives on Roosevelt Island in New York City, is an exception who has had several male roommates. While she's open to whipping up extra blueberry pancakes for them, she keeps a friendly distance. We cannot talk about everything, Miss Deitch said, like childbirth. Sometimes the secret to living with a roommate at an unexpected period of life is embracing however it turns out. Michelle Fiasca, 66. Michelle Fiasca, 66, had a housemate a few years back who couldn't seem to pay rent but did procure wonderful vintage clothes for Miss Fiasca, who runs a website that connects senior roommates in Oregon and Washington State. Miss Fiasca, who doesn't like to shop, was more pleased than bothered. I still get compliments on all the things she picked out for me, she said. So that's basically it. Before I forget, I just want to tell you guys, I know of a few people, some friends of ours, as a matter of fact, who actually are getting older, and they haven't found stable relationships with men, for instance. A number of women haven't found stable relationships with men. And a lot of our girlfriends are indeed living alone. And we're finding that, as time goes on, you get older, right? And if you haven't found a male companion by then, usually it's going to be more and more difficult. And we do know of a number of people who are indeed in a situation where they're going to either be alone forever and eventually have to look at this, or either they have to look at this getting a roommate who's female or whatever. But the only sad thing about it is once you get so old, and your roommate is so old, like 70 years old or 72 years old, whatever, somebody's going to end up taking care of the other person, right? Because, you just need assistance. more and more, not only financial, but just getting around. At some point, you're going to need that type of assistance as well. So this doesn't really bode very well for the state of the United States, as far as society is concerned. The United States, having a bunch of older people who are basically caretakers for each other, as compared to having independent lives where you live out your golden years, less dependent upon friends and relatives caring for you. And I only say this because we know of a few people personally who are basically caretakers for friends instead of enjoying life, going on trips, seeing the world, doing all the things that you should be doing when it's time to retire. So I want you guys to try to get this out of this article. The idea that, you're supposed to be reaping the rewards or benefits finally when you're 65, 70, or 75 years old. You're not supposed to be a caretaker for your friends who somehow let life pass them by to the extent where now they're so dependent upon each other's help. And then even with children who never get out of the house, never leave the nest, and then they end up taking care of the parents who never finish taking care of the kids. So you have this relentless cycle going on where nobody ever leaves home, basically. The parents raise the kids. Excuse the noise. The parents raise the kids, and then the kids end up raising the parents, all in the same house, same neighborhood. Nobody ever leaves, goes anywhere, does anything. So, as far as I'm concerned, this article really speaks volumes in terms of what society is starting to look like, particularly in the United States. So, I don't know. Trying to be positive and everything. I guess enjoy the humorous parts of it, particularly where the woman got kicked out of the house because she washes clothes on the extra large setting, and she didn't hardly have any clothes in the washer, but she insisted upon washing those clothes on the extra large setting, even though she didn't have to or didn't need to, and she ends up getting kicked out because of that. So there's some funny things about it. So anyway, I'm going to put this on my website, definitely. And I want you guys to take a look at it. And you'll probably be able to relate to it. You probably know some people who, unfortunately, for better or for worse, are going to end up taking care of their friends and relatives if they haven't already, as compared to getting out there again and enjoying life like they're supposed to. Anyway, we're going to say, keep your eyes and ears open as usual, and stay safe out there, okay? You guys, bye.